So an open carry and concealed carry case have been distributed to the Supreme Court for them to consider whether or not they're going to hear these issues. So let's talk about this. But real quick, before we jump into this video, if you think it's time for the Supreme Court to finally uphold our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I also want to give a shout out to one of the main sponsors of the channel, and that is USCCA. Through your membership, you get training, education, and self-defense liability protection. So if you carry a firearm, I highly recommend you take a look into USCCA, and I'll put a link to them down in the details section. I also want to let you know that this content is powered by the Firearms Policy Coalition, so head on over to joinfpc.org to help support the Second Amendment cause. Once again, thank you Firearms Policy Coalition for supporting this channel. So what we're going to be talking about in this video are two cases that are seeking a writ of certiorari or review from the Supreme Court. There is going to be an open carry case and a concealed carry case. The concealed carry case is going to be Russell v. New Jersey, which we've talked about on this channel before, and the open carry case is Young v. Hawaii, which is another case we've talked about heavily on this channel as well. These two cases really parallel well a case that the Supreme Court has already granted writ of certiorari for and will be hearing oral arguments on in November, that being the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Corlett case. That is one of the first Second Amendment cases that the Supreme Court will be hearing and deciding on in a very long time, and a lot of us are anticipating it. Well, now you have these two other cases, similar in nature, open carry and concealed carry, one out of New Jersey, one out of Hawaii, seeking Supreme Court review as well. These are seeking a writ of certiorari, and as of right now, they were distributed for a conference to the Supreme Court as of September 27th of 2021. So on September 27th, these are going to be distributed to conference for the Supreme Court to get together and decide whether or not they are going to actually grant a review of these cases and then hear the cases and decide them as well. So first, for those of you who are not familiar with these two cases, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what they involve. The first one we're going to cover is Russell v. New Jersey. The state of New Jersey reserves the right to determine on a case-by-case basis whether citizens have sufficiently compelling reasons to exercise their right to carry handguns. So this is kind of a justification permitting system similar to the New York system, where someone has to provide a proper justification to the state before they are issued a permit. This specific case involves Mr. Russell, who lives in Pennsylvania, but was applying for a permit in the state of New Jersey because he spends several days a week, according to him, in New Jersey visiting his girlfriend. The justification Mr. Russell put forward of why he needs a carry permit is that his ex-wife had physically attacked him on multiple occasions and that she also suffered from a personality disorder, so he was concerned for his safety as well as his girlfriend's safety. The Superior Court stated that although the applicant has demonstrated that he is of good character, suffers from no impediments to owning or carrying a firearm, and is knowledgeable about the safe and proper use of a firearm, the court finds that he has not shown he has a justifiable need to carry a firearm. The court stated that in essence, the applicant failed to establish that he will be subjected to a substantial threat of serious bodily harm, and carrying a handgun is necessary to reduce that threat of serious bodily injury. Now, Mr. Russell sought review from an appellate court, and once again, the appellate court did not rule in his favor and found that what the lower court had determined was proper and found similar along the lines that he did not put forward a good justifiable need of why he needs to carry a firearm. After that appeals decision, Mr. Russell sought a writ of certiorari up to the Supreme Court, and the two questions he is presenting for the Supreme Court to review are first, whether the Second Amendment protects the right to carry arms outside of the home for self-defense, and two, whether the government may deny law-abiding citizens their exercise of the right to carry a handgun outside of their homes by conditioning the exercise of the right on showings of need. So this is a case that is similar to the Corlett case that the Supreme Court has already granted review on and will be hearing oral arguments on. The Corlett case deals with the New York carry permit scheme, and this one just deals with the New Jersey. Factually, they're a little bit different, but kind of similar in nature. Now, in response, the state of New Jersey said that there is not a good enough two-way basis for the Supreme Court to review this case, and they said, if anything, maybe the Supreme Court should hold this until a determination in Corlett. In response to that, the plaintiffs here, Mr. Russell, said that one of the alternatives would be to actually hold it until a determination in Corlett, but another thing they could do is consolidate it with Corlett because it deals with similar issues, just different states. So that's a quick rundown of the Russell case, which deals with the state of New Jersey's concealed carry permitting requirement, and now Mr. Russell seeking review from the Supreme Court in regard specifically to the New Jersey carrying permit scheme. The other case that is now going to be considered by the Supreme Court and is going to be distributed for conference is the Young v. Hawaii case. The Young v. Hawaii case is of course coming out of the state of Hawaii, and it is a challenge to the state of Hawaii's open carry kind of permitting scheme. In Hawaii, essentially, you cannot get a concealed carry permit or an open carry permit. There are statutory language that says you can get them, but the state of Hawaii has not issued either a concealed or open permit for over 20 years. Factually, the plaintiff here, Mr. Young, sought both a concealed carry permit and an open carry permit from his local issuing agency, but was denied both. He then challenged Hawaii's permitting scheme in the district court. He did it pro se. There were some issues there. The district court found against him. After losing in the district court, this was appealed up to the Ninth Circuit, and a 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit reviewed this case and found that you have a right to carry open, especially since Pena in the Ninth Circuit had closed the door on an individual's right to carry a concealed firearm in public. There was a prior case in the Ninth Circuit, Pena, that said essentially under the Second Amendment, you do not have a fundamental right to carry a firearm concealed out in public. And so here the 3-judge panel said, well, if that is true, if that is our precedent, if you don't have a right to carry a concealed firearm out in public, well, then you must have a right under history, text, and tradition to carry a firearm open out in public. So that is what the 3-judge panel determined. The state of Hawaii then sought review from an en banc panel in the Ninth Circuit, which means 10 randomly selected judges, and then the chief judge. And on review, this en banc panel found that under the Second Amendment, their belief is that individuals do not have a right to either carry concealed or open out in public. So they found that there is no fundamental right to carry a firearm out in public at all. So the writ of certiorari in Young is seeking a review of that Ninth Circuit panel's determination that under the Second Amendment, you don't have a right to carry a firearm either open or concealed out in public. So the Russell case goes to the state of New Jersey's concealed carry scheme, and then the Young case goes to the state of Hawaii's open carry scheme. And both are seeking review from the Supreme Court to determine the scope of the Second Amendment and whether or not the Second Amendment does protect your fundamental right to carry a firearm out in public, either open or concealed. Now, I'm sure at this point, some of you are asking, what does that mean for a case to be distributed for conference in the Supreme Court? And that is a good question. What that means is that the writ of certiorari, all the supporting documents will be sent over to the clerks and the justices, and then they will get together and determine whether or not they want to grant review of these cases. So that means that on September 27th, the justices are supposed to get together and determine whether or not they want to grant review of these cases and review even more Second Amendment challenges. Now, one thing I want to emphasize, just because they are distributed for conference on those dates doesn't mean that the Supreme Court will actually take action on those days or will grant review of those cases. There are a few things that the court can do. The court can review these cases and decide to either take up and grant review of the case. They can just grant or deny certiorari, so they can decide that, hey, we don't want to review these cases and kick them, or they can sit on them and redistribute them for a subsequent conference and just kind of push it on down the road for a while until they actually want to review this. But we will definitely be keeping our eyes on this conference period, September 27th, and usually you'll get a good idea the following week what the Supreme Court decided to do. You will look at their order list of that week, and that will have their grants of certiorari, their denials of certiorari, and if these cases are not on that list, that means they're pushing it down the road and they're going to consider it at a different conference. Or if it's on that list and they've granted, that's really good for us. Or if it's on that list and they've denied cert, that's really bad for us. So just want to give you guys an idea of how this kind of all plays out, and also the importance that these two cases have been distributed for conference. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you guys like this video and like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm, or feed the algorithm, like some of you like to say, instead of fuel. It signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos, in this type of 2A news, and then it pushes it to more people. We don't have a whole lot of 2A content getting pushed there on YouTube, so you guys liking, commenting, and subscribing really helps to push these videos to more people, to help educate them and just spread the word. Thank you so much for everybody who's liked, commented, and subscribed. Thank you so much for doing that. It is really impacting this channel. So go ahead and leave a comment down below that you're commenting to fuel the algorithm or feed the algorithm. And also, if you're a new subscriber or someone who's been lurking for a while and just recently subscribed, go ahead and comment down below that you're a new subscriber and I'll make sure I comment back to you. Also, I want to mention, for those of you who want to engage and interact with me more, 2 ways you can do that is, one, go follow me over on Instagram at ArmScholarYT, because ArmScholar was taken, I don't know why, but that is my handle for Instagram at ArmScholarYT. Another way you can do that is I'm going to start doing Twitch streams where I can interact with you guys kind of more on a live basis. So head on over to twitch.com/ArmScholar and you can follow me on Twitch. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by Armed Scholars, and this nation will be maintained by Armed Scholars.